Welcome. Thank you all for coming to the, I think it's our third Museum Midday. We're very pleased to have you here. We are very excited for today's artist. Nathan Jackson has been working as an artist for the last 50 years. Artwork is held by every major museum in the state, as well as museums and private collections in the lower 48 and abroad. Nathan's been an instructor at many institutions throughout the state, has mentored numerous artists, and is the Rasmussen Foundation Distinguished Artist. We are very pleased to have with us today renowned artist Nathan Jackson.
Tukach adi na chatzati de shudach from Haynes. I'm Tukach Adi, that's my clan. Yesh yedi ayachat duasak. I'm called Ravenchild, or Raven Baby. And I prefer the last. Anyways, I thank you for coming over and listening to me flog my jaw and talk. And generally, it isn't one of those things that I like to do. I'll have to confess that, being that when I'm working in wood, it's pretty much a quiet time. And one of the things that happened to me back in, I guess this comes to a little bit of history of what I've done. There was a fellow by the name of Ted Lawrence, and Ted Lawrence is Irma Lawrence's brother-in-law, and he challenged me once. I was a young fellow, but I like to draw. There's one thing that I like to do, and he challenged me to do, he did a copy like this, little tiny totem poles, and he asked me to whittle out one of these guys, so I did two of them. And he gave me a little chunk of wood, about he big. And his Tlingit name was Dayat. And I owe quite a bit to him because of the challenge. One of the things that happened was that I've always thought of myself being a fisherman who loaded up my boat and came in as a highliner and a captain of a boat. And that didn't happen. One of the things that happened to me was when I was working on in the spring, working on a hull of a boat, I ended up with pneumonia. And pneumonia that was so bad that I ended up coughing up blood. And the doctor Dr. Jones in Haynes sent me to Mount Edgecombe because they thought I had tuberculosis. And in the hospital, this fellow, I tried to remember some of the things that we did with a pocket knife, and I had filled up a little showcase. I guess it must have been about yay big, and filled it up with little tiny miniature totem poles through occupational therapy, and whittled and whittled when we weren't sleeping. We had medications that we had to go through in order to get us to sleep, and it was kind of hard being in a hospital looking out and a nice sunny day. I stayed there for about 54 days. And all summer was just past. And I lost out on fishing. And I managed to get the end of the fall season. Somebody let me use their fishing boat, and it wasn't really all that great. You know, I didn't have a fast boat for one. I had a real small boat that I was. I ended up using. But one of the things that happened during that time was, I guess, I think the term that I would use is sometimes chickens, sometimes feathers. And in that situation, I lost out completely. There was hardly any pocket money to speak of. And what do I do with my life? While I was in the hospital, getting back to the hospital, one of the things that I did was copy a drawing. I started doing drawing and started practicing that type of skill. And it was pretty interesting. I did a drawing of an old girlfriend, and then while I was there in